Sponsored by George Sink Injury Lawyers.
And our cooler weather continues today with a lot of clouds and scattered showers and thunderstorms. Viper 13 real-time radar not showing much rain right now. East of I-95, a few scattered showers, one thunderstorm down in Georgetown County, but that's about it. Most of us are dry. We have seen those scattered showers around throughout the afternoon, but there's dry air to the north, and that is building in tonight. That means the rest of the week, most of us are going to stay dry. Temperatures right now in the 80s across much of the area, below normal once again. It will stay warm and muggy tonight in the 70s for our overnight lows, but we are going to heat up tomorrow, some of us back into the 90s. I'll have a look at how hot it's going to be by the end of the week coming up.
Coverage you can count on at 5 starts now.
Right now on News 13 at 5, Senator Lindsey Graham's sister has officially been sworn in to temporarily fill her brother's seat on the South Carolina Senate.
Then we'll have a live report on how local hospitals are working with first responders to save children from drowning.
Then we'll hear from local farmers as they express their concerns regarding the current drought in our area.
And thanks for joining us for News 13 at 5. I'm Annette Pegler.
And I'm Gabby Jonas. Adriana is off tonight. Well, first at 5, the sister of Lindsey Graham was sworn into this afternoon to complete the term of the late senator from South Carolina, but it's only a temporary position.
And now the jockeying has begun to replace the influential Republican on the ballot for the November election. CBS News congressional correspondent Nicole Killian reports from Columbia, South Carolina.
Do you solemnly swear?
With an oath on the Senate floor, Darlene Graham, the younger sister of Lindsey Graham, is now a senator from South Carolina, filling her late brother's seat.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Darlene Graham most recently served on South Carolina's Commission for the Blind. She will finish out her brother's term, which ends in January.
Lindsey has always been there for me, and now I will be there for him.
The late senator was up for re-election this year. The state will hold a special primary in August to determine a new Republican nominee for the ballot. South Carolina Congressman Ralph Norman said he may throw his hat in the ring.
You talked to the president about that decision?
I did. Asked for his endorsement.
What did he say?
Well, he said he's going to need some time. It's too early.
Sources tell CBS News President Trump has privately conveyed interest in backing South Carolina Congressman Russell Fry, who remains non-committal.
It's a big void to fill, and we need to take time to honor his legacy.
Whoever wins the Senate seat in November would serve out a full 6-year term, succeeding the longtime senator who was also a close ally of President Trump.
At the White House Tuesday, President Trump said he wished Graham had taken better care of himself.
What happened is actually something that's very hard to detect. It was not related to any blockage.
The president dismissed conspiracy theories about Graham's death and said the FBI was, quote, wasting their time in the matter. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Columbia, South Carolina.
And the death of Senator Graham is still sending shockwaves throughout the area, even among local law enforcement officials. Darlington County Coroner Todd Hardy sat down with News 13 today to discuss the impact of Graham's legacy and what it had on his career. He told us how he began as a coroner the same time Graham began serving in office. He explains how he was able to watch Graham advance in his political career.
I've been the coroner 27 years, and it was right after that Lindsey came about. So he served on a local level up in Oconee, and he served on a state level in the state house, and then he went to Congress, and then he went to the Senate. So Lindsey's done a lot, and over the years he's had an opportunity to get a lot of seniority in a lot of different places, and that is a strong suit of his.
And you'll hear more from Coroner Hardy coming up tonight on News 13 at 6.
Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette stopped by the station today with an exclusive interview with Jevin McCoskey to discuss the legacy of Senator Graham. Evette shared with Jevin her personal interactions with Graham, along with how his political career helped people across the world know who he was, along with the state he represented. When asked about any personal stories she had to share about Graham, here's what she had to say.
A flight coming back into South Carolina was with the senator, and everybody was hungry, and we asked, like, so we gotta grab something to eat, and he goes, well, I think we should go to La Chick-fil-A because that is my favorite fancy restaurant. And for a minute, like, we all looked at each other and then started laughing. But he just had these very spontaneous, humorous remarks that made everybody laugh.
And you can catch the full interview with Lieutenant Governor Evette on our website at WBTW.com.
And with Graham's seat temporarily filled by his sister, here's a timeline of voting dates for South Carolina Senator. To apply for an absentee ballot, you have until the end of the month, July 31st. Early voting for the special primary will be through August 5th through the 7th from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. The special primary will be held on August 11th. In case of a runoff, early voting will be held August 19th through the 21st from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and the runoff will be held on August 25th. And to read much more about Graham's legacy and what local politicians had to say about his death, head on over to our website, WBTW.com.
News 13 on-time traffic, sponsored by Joy Law Firm. Just call Joy.
And traffic not too bad right now on 501 between CCU and Carolina Forest. Just the occasional slowdowns at the traffic lights. No problems on 544 right now. Drive times along the Grand Strand on 501 from Carolina Forest to CCU. That'll take 14 minutes. 17 in both directions along the Grand Strand. That is moving slower than normal. Florence area looking okay. No problems in town right now. I-95 moving along nicely. Currently on 95 from TV Road to 76. That'll take 9 minutes. Palmetto from 5 Points to Irby Street will take 5 minutes. And 52 from Palmetto to I-95 will take 7 minutes.
Frank, thank you. Well, the Horry County Coroner's Office has identified the woman killed while she was walking along Highway 707. 79-year-old Shirley Cooper died from traumatic injuries at the scene. Crews responded just before 4 yesterday morning to Highway 707 and Circle Lane near Scrubby's Car Wash and the Carmen Village neighborhood. SCHP is investigating with the assistance of the Horry County Police Department.
Well, Horry County Police say 3 people are in the hospital tonight after a shooting in the Longs area. According to the Horry County Police Department, the shooting happened last night along Bombing Range Road. Officers say 3 people were shot and taken to the hospital for treatment. We're told the victims should be okay.
Well, news tonight, an ER doctor with Grand Strand Health gave a presentation to their future doctors and Myrtle Beach Fire Department employees about drownings, particularly involving children, according to the ER doctor. And the Grand Strand sees some of the highest rates of pediatric drownings in the nation. Well, News 13's Morgan Baker is live in Myrtle Beach now. And Morgan, you spoke with this ER doctor, correct?
Annette, Gabby, I spoke with Dr. Stephanie Radu, who says typically within a year they see at least 10 deaths in children under 10 related to drowning incidences. Dr. Radu met with the Myrtle Beach Fire Department employees and Grand Strand Health's future doctors to raise awareness and educate them on the prevalence of pediatric drownings in our area. Radu says Myrtle Beach ranks among the highest in the country for those incidences, and while they've had less deaths this year so far, they still see the same amount of children coming in for submersion injuries, making education and prevention critical.
Typically, when I'm seeing parents come in with an episode of drowning, they're always saying that it was just a second that the child was gone. And so it only takes a moment where someone wasn't keeping their eyes on the kid. So always having one assigned water watcher to ensure that they're not on their cell phone, that they are completely sober, and that they are responsible for watching these children.
At 6, I'll have more tips from Radu on how parents can keep their kids safe and what makes children who are on the autism spectrum more at risk. Reporting live in Myrtle Beach, Morgan Baker, News 13.
Morgan, thank you. With the recent extreme heat in our area, many local farmers are expressing their concerns for their crops. News 13 was at a farmers market today in Surfside Beach to talk with some local farmers about how they are handling the ongoing drought and how their crops are being affected. One farmer shared with us how elephant garlic, and one of his crops, has been impacted from the extreme heat.
This is elephant garlic here where it's nice and closed. And this is how it's preferred to be, because this garlic right here could last 8 months or longer. Because of the drought this year, the cloves have split like this. And because of the splitting, the garlic is still good. It's not going to last nearly as long as what it would if it was closed. So it's been a little challenging.
And we'll have more from Ballard, who you just heard from, coming up tonight on News 13 at 6.
And once again today, we do have a little bit of rain across our area, but most of us have been dry. I'll have a look at when we'll see our next chance for rain coming up.